Hello, Tashi Delek, Namo Buddhaya. So today I want to discuss about the eating meat. When I interact with my Indian friends, they regularly asking me a question that do monk eat meats or not, and what did Buddha say about eating meat? So this is the question I always face when I meet with my Indian friends. So I felt that it would be nice I can make a video on this point. So therefore today I am going to discuss about it. If you ask about myself, my father, he is a Tibetan. He was born in Tibet and he came to India in 1959. At that time, he was quite young. So he grown up in India, and he met my mother. My mother, she is an Indian woman. So if you ask about my case, so I am a total vegetarian because my mother, she came from a Hindu family. So therefore I become a pure vegetarian. I don't take any kind of meats in my life, So let's go back to the question. So what did Buddha say about eating meat? So if you look at the Buddha's scriptures, there is a collection of more than 110 scriptures, textbooks. So if you go through these textbooks, then you can find out that Buddha did not say anything about enjoying meat when he was in India. He started to talk about this point when he came to Sri Lanka. Why Buddha did not say anything about eating meat when he was in India? Why he had started to talk this when he arrived to Sri Lanka? It is because if you look at the country India, India has a long history of tradition to enjoy a vegetarian food. So not only at the period of Buddha's lifetime, even today, people of India, they like to eat vegetarian food, and you can see so many vegetarian restaurants everywhere in India. So it is very obvious. So when Buddha arrived to Sri Lanka, this is my perspective, it is not written there in textbook. I feel that people of Sri Lanka, people of the island, their life and their survival is heavily depending upon the seafoods and other meats, So that's why Buddha has noticed about this, and then he started to spoken about eating meat. So when he interacted with the people, when he gave a public teaching, at that time he always says that if you are my follower, you shouldn't eat any kind of meat. This is what Buddha says when he interact with the general public. In terms of monk, Buddha said nothing about eating meat. Buddha has made so many precepts for the monks, like monks are prohibited to kill any living beings, and monks are prohibited to cheat other people, to lie other peoples, and monks are prohibited to have a sex with women. So these are the precepts Buddha has made for the monks, but Buddha did not say anything about eating meats. Buddha did not make any kind of precepts to eat meat for the monks. Why it is? It is because monks, they are going for alms, you know that. Monks, you can see not only at the period of the Buddha's lifetime, even today, if you go to the Sri Lanka, if you go to the Thailand, if you go to the Cambodia, you can see that monks are begging of food. It's on the streets, and you can see monks are begging of food in the village, in the towns. You can see like that. So monks, they are not positioned to demand the foods. They have to accept any kind of food which is offered by the family. So monks are not positioned to demand the food. So if monks have a position to demand the food, then it can develop an attachment. Then monks could say that, I need this kind of food or that kind of food. So this is not allowed. So monks, they have to accept any kind of food which is offered by the family. So therefore, whether it is a vegetarian food or non-vegetarian foods, monks, they have to accept it. So therefore, Buddha did not make any kind of precept not to enjoy a meat for the monks. Okay, so in terms of eating meat, does not mean that, if you do not eat the meat, then you are a good person, or if you eat the meat, then you become a bad person. It is not like that. If you look at the Buddha's life story, there is a fellow whose name is called Devdutt. In Tibetan term, we call him as a Dulhaji. Actually, he was Buddha's relative. He tried to kill the Buddha so many times, but he was a vegetarian. And also, I came to know that, at the time of Second World War, there was a guy called Hitler from the Germany. So he killed millions of Jewish people. But as my understanding that he was a vegetarian. So if you are vegetarian, does not mean that you are good persons. If you are non-vegetarian, then it doesn't mean that you are bad persons. There is another question. Most people, they are asking to me. They are asking the question that does His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama enjoy the non-vegetarian food? So I would like to say that I am not a right person to answer this question, and I'm not a position to talk about him. But I would like to share few information whatever I heard from himself when I attained to His Holiness public teaching. He has talked about eating meat. So therefore I would like to share a few information that I have heard from himself. So one time he said that actually if you look at the country like Tibet and Mongolia, these two nations, these two countries are very high altitude. Okay, so therefore it is difficult to grow vegetables in these countries. So it is very difficult to find out the vegetables in Tibet. So people, their life and their survival are heavily depending upon the meats. So therefore everybody is enjoying a meat in Tibet. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he used to enjoy a meat when he was in Tibet. Then when he came to India as a refugee, then he saw that Indian, they have a very passion and they have a very long history of tradition to enjoy the vegetarian food. Then he also started to enjoy the vegetarian food, and he stopped completely to enjoy the non-vegetarian food. Okay, then several times later he got a sick. Then he consulted with the doctor. Then doctor has advised him that he has a jaundice, and then he has to enjoy a meat. So therefore, this is a doctor advice. So therefore, His Holiness, he doesn't take non-vegetarian food regularly, but he takes a meat occasionally, and especially when he was invited to somewhere else, and when the host, they offered non-vegetarian food, then he accepted it. Otherwise, mostly he preferred to enjoy the vegetarian food. This is what he has explained to us. So therefore, I would like to say that it would be nice if you can enjoy the natural food, vegetarian food in your life. This is what I wanted to say. Thank you.